Hello, hello, hello. How are you? This is going to be the beginning of a bit of a video journal of what is happening with me. I have been having I've been having symptoms for the past, I don't know how long, that have gotten worse over the past 6 months or so. Forgive me. This is how I'm walking now. Oh, this is going to be all over the place. Sorry. This is basically how I'm walking. I feel like my age multiplied by 2. Recently, I've had so many things going on with me, and I just could not understand why. Got a few tests done. It was discovered that my renal function was low. We've had 2 rounds of tests, and it has stayed at 59. A year before, it was at 65. So yeah, it's kind of on the way down, which I personally am not comfortable with because my body feels ill and I do get symptoms from that. But that's not the only thing. Within the last 2 years, I went to a therapist for the very first time since being an adult. And then within the last 5 or 6 months, I went back to the therapist again and have been even more forceful about my mental health journey. Have been diagnosed with depressive and anxiety disorder. I was glad to finally, I was sad about it, but I was glad to finally get a diagnosis because it's been a struggle, but at least now I know what I'm dealing with. But that wasn't all. I have had extreme fatigue. Like, all right now I'm talking to you. Extreme. And I was really concerned because all of this was happening during lockdown. But I was thinking ahead, as I usually do. And I wondered, what's going to happen when I have to go back to work? Like, be physical at work? How am I going to have the energy for this if even when I'm in bed, I'm tired? I wake up after having a whole lot of sleep. When I do have a whole lot of sleep, I'm tired. I sit and hardly do anything and I'm tired. Like today. Today has been a bad day. I've had a dry mouth, dry lips. This has not fixed itself no matter how much water I drink. And I drink quite a bit of water. I drink a lot of water. Even have water next to me right now. There are times when I have itchy skin. There are times I'm extremely dizzy. That happens every day. Breathlessness, like now. I am an asthmatic, but this has nothing to do with asthma. It's just being breathless. So much so that the long walks that I used to take are now a bit impossible. Because all I can do is the max a half an hour, and I have to plan my walk and make sure I'm on my way home by the time I get near the end of the half an hour, because I then have to maneuver getting upstairs, which wasn't an issue for me. But I literally have to stop at the landings in order to catch my breath. Realized that started happening sometime about a year ago, or more than a year ago actually. And I didn't understand what was going on. But now symptoms are just getting worse. What else is there? Insomnia. I've always had an issue with insomnia, but not as bad as this. My insomnia would be in and out. When I was younger, I would have night terrors, to be honest. So sometimes the insomnia was a godsend. But I don't have anything like that anymore. No night terrors or anything like that. Not since I've gone into my middle-aged years. But my insomnia is worse. numbness in my fingers, numbness in my feet. Sometimes there's tingling, numbness in my arms. There's my neck and back, which have been a real case. I do have a degenerative situation going on in my neck, in the second and third vertebrae. I have lordosis, but it's getting worse. It's getting worse. Sometimes it's really hard, like sleeping at night and trying to prop things up in a way, because I do have a neck rest as well, and I may turn in my sleep and wake myself up because I feel as if I'm about to break my neck by how I turned. Heart palpitations. I've had my heart rate go up. The max has been 198 beats. And that would go up there and then jump back down and go to about 50 or 40. So I've been going through a bit of that. There'll be some days when I will have one or two of those spikes. And then there'll be other days where I have spikes of around, probably up to a maximum of the most 120 for an extended period of time, like say over an hour or two. Like just that happening constantly, where I would just check on my pulse rate and see that my pulse rate is still 100 and something, even though I'm not doing much. That happens. And then there are other days, like the last couple of days or so, where it has settled a little bit. I've had issues with my blood pressure, with it falling low, like 90 something over 60 a little bit. And then there are times where there'll be spikes of when it goes high. Feeling faint, stumbling when I walk, brain fog to the point where I'd actually forget where I am. That has happened. That is scary. Oh, I had stomach issues as well. I couldn't get an answer as to why I had them. Even had an endoscopy, no answers. Joint pains, like arthritic, rheumatoid arthritis type pains, headaches, neck aches that go all the way up in my head and make my head feel as if it's in a vice. All that. Dull eyes. My eyes don't look like how they used to. Ear pain. Of course, I said that all of this was happening for quite some time. So I could have been making a record of these symptoms on video. Why did I start now? Because after all the talking to doctors and stuff like that, it just never occurred to me to let them know or to make them aware of the fact that in my records, I've had breast implant surgery, breast augmentation. The reasons why I did is a whole other video, but the fact is that I've had them for now 11 years. Just over a week ago, my left breast kicked up, all of it, just out of the blue like that. I had an ECG 8 days ago. The evening of that day in my bed, I felt my chest felt weird, but I ignored it because it wasn't a great discomfort. I was getting pains anyway, but I learned to deal with them because I didn't think it was anything big. But these persisted and grew more worrying. I would get like itching inside, and then pain. I felt as if there was tearing or shifting inside this breast. It was hard for me to sleep I haven't gotten a proper night's sleep. Probably last night was the first night I got about 7 hours, I think. But the nights preceding that, I could not sleep well. And some nights I didn't sleep because of the weight of this side and the pain. The literally having to hold my side in a way so I can move slowly and turn to find a comfortable angle. I realized over the last, I didn't say anything to any doctors because I was tired bringing up symptoms and tired talking about anything. So I prayed about it and I prayed to God, please let this thing calm down. And I tried to work on my mood so that I can feel happier in spite of this. And it kind of helped me to get through my work, but it didn't help me feel better physically. Certain things calmed a little bit, but now I am persistently, I don't have pain, but I have persistent discomfort. My whole left side is swollen, has been swollen for probably the last 3 to 4 days. Under my arm is swollen. My breast is swollen. I think I could feel something going on with my back as well. And I feel general malaise. And yeah, it's scary. This is what has caused me to start recording, because upon research, I discovered that there was something that I never heard of before in my life, even though I should have known about this. But then again, 12 years ago was a different time when I first started seriously thinking about getting these breast implant illness, or I have pain as I talk to you. This is a serious thing. And I was afraid to talk about it to anybody in these last few days. One, because of my pride at first. And then secondly, because of the stigma. People don't understand why women would have breast implants, even though they have them for a variety of reasons. All of them are valid. They're all valid. But a lot of the time we are not given the right information. Even on research, sometimes you can't find the information we want. My implants are saline. However, they come with texturization. From what I remember, they're textured, and only recently I discovered that the textured outer layer is silicone. And after a while, that can wear down. But I do figure I always had an issue with these. Even when I had my surgery, waking up from the surgery that took 4.5 hours, because I will get into how my boobs were before, which would explain why probably that surgery went on so long. But when I woke up from that surgery, I immediately vomited, like violently. I don't vomit. That's a hard thing for me to do. So imagine having a surgery and waking up straight, open eyes, vomit. Maybe that should have been something telling me, you know what, these things are foreign and probably you're not going to augur well with them. But this is the beginning of my process. And as time goes on, I will document what's happening. Not only for me to take a look back and see where all of this went and how it's going and things, but to help others who may need to know from a Black British Caribbean person how this has affected me, and how then it may or may not affect someone that's like myself. All right, that's it.